right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A 9-year-old boy fighting for his life, the victim of a hit-and-run driver.
This is a cry for you guys to just slow down.
Tonight, new details on his recovery as a North St. Louis neighborhood lays a hand on the horn about reckless drivers.
The late afternoon rain is long gone. The next round of showers and thunderstorms later this week will pack much more of a punch.
First breaking news, a former high school teacher who left a student for dead is now a free man.
It's a case that made national headlines, and just hours ago we learned that Sam Shelton is now out on parole. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. Shelton was released from the Illinois Correctional Center yesterday after serving nearly 17 years of a 20-year sentence. The former Freeburg High School teacher pleaded guilty in 2007 to the attempted murder of Ashley Reeves. Shelton admitted he used a belt to strangle the 17-year-old and left her in a Belleville park in April of 2006. She was found alive more than 24 hours later. According to the Department of Corrections, Shelton will now serve 3 years on parole.
Tonight we're hearing from the mother of a 9-year-old boy critically injured in a horrific crash where he was left pinned between the wreckage of 2 cars for nearly 30 minutes. The mother of Corey Walker tells 5 on your side her son is still in the ICU and is now on life support 2 days after the crash. The 3rd grader has a twin brother. The crash happened Sunday morning at Hickey Park in North St. Louis. Police say Corey was getting a soccer ball out of the trunk of his family's car parked along North Broadway when he was hit by a speeding driver. Kevin Johnson, that driver, ran off after the crash and later turned himself into police. He's now charged with leaving the scene of a crash, assault, and child endangerment. People in the Baden neighborhood say reckless and speeding drivers along this stretch of North Broadway is nothing new. Our Robert Townsend has more tonight from concerned neighbors. Robert.
Michael, people who live on North Broadway and police who patrol that busy street in the city limits say speeding and car crashes have become all too common. Worried neighbors have had enough. Rosemary Ray says shortly before midnight Friday, her 42-year-old son hopped in her car, turned right onto North Broadway, and in a flash, just feet away from their home.
He said he didn't see anybody, but all of a sudden he saw a speeding car coming from the south.
She says the driver slammed into the back of her car.
Totally demolished the back end, and the car kept going.
She says it's a miracle her son survived the crash. Her crushed Cadillac is now totaled.
Very upsetting. Look at that. This could have been somebody else's life.
The hit and run happened just down the street from where a 9-year-old boy was pinned between 2 cars on Sunday.
I do want him to know that we are praying for him.
Rosemary says during the 5 years she's lived in Baden, she's watched many drivers whiz by the posted 35-mile-an-hour speed limit sign.
Very upsetting because this happens every day and almost all day long. And that's why I've had these barriers put up.
St. Louis police confirm speeding and crashes are a problem in this area. Crashes where people have been hurt and property damaged. Last September, a woman was killed in this multi-car crash on North Broadway. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol's database, so far this year on the entire stretch of North Broadway in the city, there have been at least 50 traffic incidents.
We're trying to see if we can get the police to just be stationary over here some mornings and evenings.
Just slow down. It has to stop.
Earlier tonight, North Broadway neighbors had a chance to share their concerns with Mayor Tashara Jones and Police Chief Robert Tracy during a 2-hour-long community town hall.
Thanks, Robert. Let's talk about our weather. The showers and thunderstorms are moving out of the St. Louis region. In fact, they were able to get in tonight's Cardinals game at Busch Stadium.
Too bad.
Oh, no. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is tracking some dry days ahead of our next storm threat.
Yeah, we could have used some of that rain just to keep on going, keep the Cardinals out of it tonight. Yeah, that's a preview for what we'll hear from sports in a little bit. All right, there's groaning back in the sports office. We know. That rain came through St. Louis. Really lined up along Interstate 70, pressed through this evening. Some of us saw upwards of a half an inch, a little more in a few places, but it's all off to our east and out of the area now. Tomorrow's going to be a splendid day. We're going down into the 40s tonight. It'll be a cool night, but tomorrow morning, we're going to start a quick warm-up. We'll be back close to 70 tomorrow afternoon. We are getting into an unsettled pattern. Tomorrow, pick day of the week. By Friday into the weekend, a much stormier pattern develops. The threat of severe weather is there. We're going to break down the timing on what we see at this point and tell you what you need to know as you're making your weekend plans. That's in about 10 minutes, Mike.
All right, Scott. Tonight, a new downtown restaurant is cleaning up after a smash and grab robbery early this morning. Hot Pizza Cold Beer opened in early February on Washington Avenue. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski is live there tonight. She spoke with the owner just hours after all this happened. Laura.
Mike, the owner of Hot Pizza Cold Beer, says he's not even going to let this faze him. They were able to open the restaurant today and say they had a lot of community support.
So last night the alarm went off about 3 a.m. Someone threw a rock through the window and ran off with our empty registers.
You heard that right. In this security camera footage, you can see a thief break through the front window of Hot Pizza Cold Beer and go through a lot of trouble to steal some practically empty registers and take off.
Probably more of a pain to carry around and smash open than the amount of money that was in them, so just some change.
One of the owners, Mike Johnson, also owns 2 other restaurants on Washington Avenue and more across the metro area. He says smash and grabs really happen everywhere.
Sugar Fire across the street's been open 11 years. Never happened once. High Point's never happened. We've been there 5 years. We're here at McCausland High Point. Our first 2 nights we were open here 7, 8 years ago, same thing happened. That's why we put that security van out front.
This is Alderwoman Kara Spencer's ward, and she said the break-in is really disheartening. Quote, downtown is central to the success or failure of our region. It has to be a place where businesses and the people who live there thrive, and safety is paramount. Johnson made light of the situation on Instagram, calling it their new takeout window, which garnered a lot of community support.
Nice. Thanks. Hot pizza. Window's already boarded up. It's getting replaced tomorrow. It's going to cost a little money, but like I said, the whole neighborhood's been down there eating pizza today, so it's been great.
General Manager Gabe Alvarado says it's unfortunate this happened, but it's not going to stop them from doing what they love in the city they love.
If you want to be part of the revitalization effort of downtown St. Louis, you know, there's a certain amount of risk involved in that, but that's okay because it's worth it. You know, we got to do something to make downtown a place where people want to be, and as we do that, I think that can only improve the atmosphere down here.
Unfortunately, they're not the only ones. The Dollar General Express, which is just 2 doors down, had this happen to them last week. And Johnson says this is going to take about $1,000 to repair. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
New tonight, a Delwood man makes a startling discovery inside his North St. Louis County home.
As soon as I found it, I got chills.
Nico Crumweedy says he and his girlfriend heard a loud noise last Monday night outside their home on Alliance Drive. He found a bullet hole in the ceiling of his home office. Just yesterday, he found the stray bullet lying on the floor right next to his desk.
You think about how a bullet comes up and comes down. You'd think it would lose momentum as it comes. No, it made it all the way through the shingle, through the board. That definitely could have killed somebody. That could have killed me. I'm very grateful.
Crumweedy says the roofing company he hired to make repairs called it St. Louis Hail. He also reported the incident to police.
Chilling video shared in court today in the trial of a man accused of killing St. Louis police officer Tamaris Bohannon. Fellow officers took the stand recounting the moments after the shooting and how they pulled Bohannon into a police cruiser and rushed him to the hospital. Thomas Kinworthy is charged in the deadly shooting in the Tower Grove South neighborhood in August of 2020. The defense has entered a not guilty plea by reason of mental defect. This trial is scheduled to last through next week.
Charges have been upgraded against the man accused of grabbing a 15-year-old McDonald's worker by the hair and stomping on her head. 25-year-old Johnny Ricks is now charged with first-degree assault. He was originally charged with second-degree. The attack, caught on camera, happened earlier this month outside the McDonald's on Parker Road in North County. Investigators say Ricks had just been kicked out of the restaurant.
We're just days away from the Greater St. Louis Marathon, and for a local pastor, it's personal.
Saturday will mark a milestone that she vowed years ago to make: 50 marathons by the age of 50. New tonight, Brent Solomon introduces us to the minister on a mission.
Waymaker, miracle worker.
In the pulpit, this pastor fulfills her life's purpose.
The split is at the finish line.
But it's on the pavement where she's found another calling. Meet Angela Tate, Associate Pastor of Westside Missionary Baptist Church. You can add to that title, Accomplished Marathon Runner.
I started running 5Ks and did a couple of 10Ks and then did a half marathon and just fell in love with the run.
8 years ago, a fellow minister gave her a goal: run 50 marathons before she turns 50.
So I was 42 at the time, so I thought, no way.
The now 49-year-old will run in the Greater St. Louis Marathon Saturday. After traveling from city to city, this weekend's home run will fulfill the challenge she reluctantly accepted. It took discipline.
So I was doing 4 or 5, maybe 6 a year.
Then a detour. COVID-19, placing an unexpected timeout in her race against the clock.
So subsequently, I did 12 marathons in 2023 so that we could make the goal.
In addition to offering support, members of Tate's church have stepped up themselves.
So the church is doing a mile a day. So they're walking a mile a day to keep her motivated.
After all, that's what leaders do: set an example and prove what's possible, even when you barely believed it yourself.
At first, I didn't think it was possible, but then I said, let's go. To be able to do it in front of my family, my daughters, my husband, my grandgirl, right? And that they can see if we set a goal, we really want to do it, we can do it. So.
Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
I know she's going to do it too. Pastor Tate and her supporters will wear T-shirts Saturday that say "Believe" and Team 413. That is a reference to a Bible verse that she reminds her that she really can do all things.
She went to a chiropractor to get relief for a stiff neck.
As soon as I opened my eyes, my vision was completely crossed.
She left in an ambulance.
It was really scary.
Tonight, the I-Team looks into the safety of forceful neck adjustments.
Mistakes are being made. You need to slow down, take a better look at it.
And the calls to make the practice safer.
Spring storm season is really ramping up, heading toward the weekend for the middle part of the country. What that means for us as you make your weekend plans.
Tonight, a Baldwin woman is sharing her concerns with the I-Team about the safety of forceful chiropractic neck adjustments. The American Chiropractic Association says risks are extremely low.
Tonight, senior investigative reporter Paula Hassan reveals why many argue there are potentially deadly consequences that could be prevented.
Ashley Nelson's 40th birthday celebration was a dream come true. A visit to New York City to see Hamilton on Broadway. But her fun and carefree trip soon took a terrifying turn.
I napped on the plane, kind of in a funky position, and I had a stiff neck after that.
She returned home to Baldwin, Missouri in pain and sought relief from a chiropractor.
He got me right in, and he started doing the manipulations, and as soon as I opened my eyes, my vision was completely crossed.
She left in an ambulance.
Then my face started becoming numb.
At the hospital, she discovered what went wrong.
My right vertebral artery had been torn, and with that tear, a little piece broke off and went to my brainstem, and that's what was causing the stroke. It was really scary.
The I-Team discovered there's lack of clear guidance from the country's leading medical groups. The American Heart Association told us more research review is needed. The American Academy of Neurology told us it has no position, but its president told us in part, it is crucial that a medically qualified physician work with patients to diagnose and manage any neurologic condition. We also reached out to the St. Louis area's biggest hospital systems. None agreed to an interview.
I feel like it gets swept under the rug.
Nelson is now one of multiple people around the country suing chiropractors over strokes, all after rapid force applied to their necks. Their complaints focus on the industry's alleged failure to communicate the risks and prevent them. Some attorneys and physicians argue that in very rare cases, the result can be fatal.
I'm excited to go check it out. Love you.
Model and social media star Katie May died in 2016 after a stroke. Her autopsy report revealed it happened after a visit to the chiropractor.
Research estimates strokes from the tearing of a neck artery happen to about 1 in 100,000 people. The American Chiropractic Association argues chiropractors do not cause strokes, and they would have happened anyway. But many legal and medical experts disagree, saying it's no coincidence.
Mistakes are being made.
Stephen Brown is a chiropractor in Arizona. blowing the whistle on what he calls a serious flaw in the industry.
What do you think needs to change to make this industry safer?
I think all these strokes are completely avoidable if chiropractors did a proper history and examination prior to adjusting the patient.
His views, published in a medical journal last month. He says some chiropractors are cracking the most vulnerable part of the spine indiscriminately, without enough screening or any medical imaging.
You need to slow down, take a better look at it, and order the imaging if it is indicated.
Slow down.
As Nelson continues her recovery with the support of her husband, she hopes her story is a warning.
Your body's really fragile, and a high velocity manipulation, there's so much that could go wrong with that.
The American Chiropractic Association tells the I-Team neck adjustments are safe and effective to decrease pain and increase mobility. But neurologists tell us they advise strictly avoiding forceful chiropractic neck manipulation because the result could be devastating. For the I-Team, Paula Vasan, 5 on your side.
And if you have a tip for Paula, she wants to hear from you. You can leave a voice message at that number, 444-5231, or email her directly at pvasan@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
Tonight, there's a new owner to Boeing's corporate retreat in North St. Louis County. The Augustine Institute, a Catholic media company, has purchased the 284-acre retreat off Newhalls Ferry Road and Whitecliff Roads. The organization is relocating from Colorado and plans to use the campus to create a national center for evangelization. Up until the pandemic, Boeing used the property for corporate training. Shoppers could finally see some much-needed relief at the grocery store. A new report from Oxford's Economics predicts food prices to decline and see a bottom this year. The key driving force, a record supply of wheat and corn. Farmers ramped up production following the spike in prices when Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022.
A possible victory tonight for tens of millions of Americans who want to change jobs for better pay and benefits. The FTC voted today to ban new non-compete agreements effective 120 days from now. Existing non-competes will also be voided unless you're a senior executive. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce has already said it's ready to fight that ban in court.
Let's check in again with Chief Meteorologist Scott Conlon with the weather first forecast. Was soggy earlier today, Scott.
It was, but we're done with that rain for now, and tomorrow looks like a great day. And Nancy shared this beautiful shot with us. Look how blue that sky was between the clouds. This was out in Warrenton between the rounds of showers and thunderstorms that rolled across the area. We had that batch this afternoon. You know, we could use some rain. Most of us still pretty dry. And today, some of us managed to get more than just a few drops into the rain gauge. Waterloo back to Arnold coming in with about 1/10 of an inch. But as you get into North St. Louis County, Blackjack picked up 3300ths, Lambert 4400ths, Lake St. Louis about 1/2 an inch, and then going out towards Warrenton and over towards Collinsville. Right on this very narrow band, we saw upwards of 6/10 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch. That's a decent amount of rainfall. 55 right now in St. Louis. That's actually a new low temperature for the day. 66 was our high this afternoon. We did get 4400ths of an inch of rain. We're going into the 40s tonight, but everybody's staying above 40 degrees, so no chances for frost tomorrow morning. It's a bright day. Pick day of the week tomorrow. Winds are out of the north. They're fairly light, 5 to 10 miles per hour. We'll get close to 70 tomorrow afternoon, so a delightful day to work outside. Out west, still watching the spin off the Pacific coast. Why do we care? Well, that's the upper level system that's developing and is going to be nudging ashore. Every time we've seen one of these systems come ashore like this and develop that overall southwest flow, we end up with severe weather in the middle part of the country. No reason to think that this is not going to be the same case heading towards the weekend. That was Friday's severe weather threat. This is Sunday's severe weather threat. Saturday, it's still out to the west of us, but Sunday looks like it potentially could include all of the area. And of course, as we get closer, we get more specific on the threats and the timing. Here's that first hunk of energy heading our way for Friday afternoon. We will have showers and thunderstorms from the get-go, we think, Friday morning. They would be severe to our west Thursday. What's left of that Friday could kind of diminish our chances for severe weather, but there's still another surge of this energy coming our way for Sunday into Sunday evening. That is definitely the bigger problem, we think. So that severe weather potential does appear to be ramping up across the bi-state region. Our first opportunity will happen on Friday. A little bit iffy as to whether it will actually be severe here. The better chances are to our west on Friday. Overall, we get a break on Saturday, which is a good thing because a lot of folks are running long distances with a marathon on Saturday. Don't think we're going to have a lot of weather-related problems there. Sunday, though, later in the day especially, and into Sunday evening, that's when our potential for some severe weather does look a little bit more impressive. And notice, temperatures are going back into the 80s for Saturday and Sunday. So it is going to be warmer. Yes, there'll be a little more humidity. Those are just a couple of the ingredients you need for severe weather. Add in that energy and some gusty winds, and we'll see what these storms do for us this weekend. But, you know, have a backup plan for Friday and Sunday activities.
Be weather aware. All right, Scott, thanks. Frank is here with sports.
The Cardinals are trying to make it 2 in a row. A Chaminade product trying to win an NBA playoff game, and how teams in the area will soon follow the lead of the greatest blues singer of all time. Stick around, I'll explain.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
The most true quote in baseball history comes from the Hall of Fame manager and the pride of St. Louis, Earl Weaver. Momentum is that night's starting pitcher, end quote. Case in point, the Cardinals. Monday night, the most electrifying win of the season. And tonight, the Diamondbacks beat them by 100. The Cardinals did have a little moment in the first. This is Wilson Contreras blasting his 3rd homer, and that was about it. The Diamondbacks had more hits than Madonna in the 80s. That's a 3-run blast off Steven Matz by Christian Walker. That's a 2-run homer into Big Mac land by Kevin Newman in the 5th, which made the score 10-1. And that's a grand slam by Pavin Smith in the 6th. The Diamondbacks win 14-1, Ali on Steven Matz.
I actually thought it was one of his better outings, to be quite honest with you. The line doesn't show that, but from a pitch standpoint, Vila was there, walking the 9-hole in that inning. That kind of led to some runs, wasn't ideal, but Walker took a good swing off of him. But for the most part, I thought he actually did a pretty decent job. Didn't go our way.
I wish Ali was my teacher in school. A lot has happened in the world since the last time Mizzou lost an athletic director and hired an athletic director. Shohei Ohtani is known for more than just home runs now. We had the eclipse, and Taylor Swift came out with a new album. Laird Veatch is the new AD of the University of Missouri. He was previously in the same role at the University of Memphis. Veatch is described as a leader in NIL initiatives and just got FedEx to invest $25 million into the Memphis NIL program. Here's a look into the thinking that made him attractive to Mizzou.
I believe a part of the solution for the future of college athletics and all the challenges we're dealing with is major corporate NIL support like this has to be part of that formula. And we feel like we've provided maybe a glimpse into what that can be.
Game 2 NBA playoffs, Timberwolves and Suns, and it's nice to see Bradley Beal in the postseason again. And we all know what the pride of Chaminade does best, shoot the 3. He had 14, not enough. Minnesota up 2-0 in the series after a 105-93 win. Finally tonight, a word about winter sports. This was one of the worst we've ever had in our region. The Blues didn't make the playoffs. Half the league makes the playoffs. Missouri basketball didn't win a game in 2024, and SLU lost 20 games. I'm here to say things are about to change. The Blues likely have 5 guys returning with 25 or more goals. They have one of the best goalie tandems in the league. The plethora of prospects are ever so close, and I'd like to think Doug Armstrong has a few good moves in him in the offseason. Dennis Gates and the Mizzou basketball Tigers have a top 5 high school recruiting class coming in, and they're flush with cash, hitting it big in the portal. They'll win. So will SLU and Josh Schertz. Josh Schertz has won 79% of his games in his career. That's top 10 among all coaches in the NCAA. Bottom line, it's time to think about the song from my favorite all-time recording artist, B.B. King, Let the Good Times Roll. That will do it on sports, and we will roll to break.
Blues fans continue to bleed blue despite a second consecutive season with no playoff hockey. The team sold out 40 of its 41 home games, and according to our partners at the St. Louis Business Journal, the Note also ranked 4th among U.S. teams in the league for local television ratings.
Strawberry season has arrived. Starting tomorrow, you can pick your own at Eckert's in Belleville. The family farm is also holding a strawberry festival every weekend in May. And Four Hands Brewing Company released a new strawberry-flavored hard seltzer today. Strawberry Burst is inspired by pink Starburst candies. Cans are available at Four Hands and at local stores.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Be sure to start your day beginning at 4 a.m. with the Today in St. Louis crew. Have a great tomorrow.